Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. My guest this segment is John Leliever. He's the founder of Signature Resources, trading on the TSX Venture under the symbol SGU. John, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, James.
John, you've got a project up north in Ontario that is, by any measure, very interesting. You've got a 234,000 ounce historic resource, and you've got all kinds of geophysical anomalies. Tell me about the history of acquiring this project and exactly how you come to be involved with the company.
Well, the project was introduced to me back in 2003 when I was working in the north up in Timmins. And at that time, I was working as a prospector and a field manager of another project which ultimately became Trelawney's big camp and a huge success for Greg Gibson and that company. And at that time, the family that owned the property, referred to as the Cool property, the Lingman Lake property, I invited them down to our camp, took a look at the data that they had, showed it to Walter. Walter and I were working together at the time. Walter took a look at it, knew of the Lingman Lake asset, and at that time Walter said, you know, you should do everything you can to acquire this deal. It was too rich for me at the time. Passed that project over to some other people, and they went forward with that project, but unfortunately greed entered the picture, and the deal just didn't get done. Years later, I've had a few successes myself in the mining sector, and I parlayed those successes into having enough money to go back and see if I could not acquire the original property. Okay. And that's what I did. I had enough money and the wherewithal to put that package together, and subsequently started acquiring all the ground that was owned by some other companies in the vicinity as well.
Okay, so what is the sort of geological setting there in terms of what other mines are in the area? What trend is it on? Which exact area of Ontario?
So it is on a greenstone belt. We're sitting approximately 300 kilometers north of the Red Lake camp on the Ontario side, right on the Ontario-Manitoba border, literally. And I guess the nearest property that's being developed is the Mega Precious property, which was bought by Yamana, I think probably about 4 years ago.
How far is that away?
They're by the crow flies about 80 kilometers. They're on the Manitoba side,
okay.
And they're about 30 kilometers north of a First Nations community, Red Sucker Lake.
Is that on the same geological trend as the Lingman Lake project that you're involved with?
No, it is not.
Okay.
It is a complete different trend, and you know, they've got a great project. Ours is a different, you know, a different body. Yeah. And I think our CEO and geologist Walter Handich could probably better answer that type of question.
Great. So then you acquired the land by staking, and you've held it in your sort of family sort of hands for a long time?
So the original 4 patents were purchased by me personally, and held within my personal holdings. The Crown land claims, which were held by another company at the time, which was Anaconda Mining. I had discussions with Anaconda, and they put a number on their package, and I acquired those personally. And the package then was, you know, not the package, but we needed to put the property into some kind of a vehicle where we could present it to the public and go out and raise money. And that's what we did. We put it into Signature Resources.
How much money have you spent on exploration to date?
To date, we've probably spent about $1.6 million in total on exploration.
Okay. So this is all in preparation for a drill program?
It is.
Okay. When does drilling start?
Our goal is to go back to the market to raise a little bit more money for drilling. And we anticipate having a drill on the property, I would say, midsummer to August timeframe.
What is the infrastructure situation like up there? It sounds like it's a little bit remote.
It's remote, and we get that all the time. The challenges of developing a project that is that remote. Well, for us, it's not really much of a challenge. Both Walter and myself have got remote exploration experience developing properties for most of our lives, and we don't see that as a challenge.
So remote ultimately just means a little bit more expensive.
It's a little bit more expensive, and that's the key.
Right.
A little bit more expensive.
Okay, great. So the next 12 months, 18 months, you're going to drill some holes. I'm assuming there's going to be some success.
Yep.
Interpret the results, design the next follow-on drill program, and hopefully discover the next mine in Northern Ontario.
We think we're on to that indeed.
Okay.
A lot of telltale things have been coming our way over our work, from our work programs, and it's very exciting.
Great.
Especially now.
Right, right. Okay, great, John. We're going to leave it there for now. We'll come back to you in a quarter's time. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, James.